Alright, we're just going. A lot of weird stuff happening. I'm standing. I'm wearing my new sunglasses. Um, it's later in the day. Usually I record right when I come home. The past 2 days, 3 days, I felt really sad at night. It's Wednesday. I just went to therapy. Are we going to do this with the sunglasses? You know what? We're going to keep them on the whole time. I like them. These are my new running sunglasses. I mean, that was a good thing I did yesterday. I was like, I want running sunglasses, so then I just went to Dick's and got them. Never really do stuff like that. But I think the camera's crooked. Whatever. I wanted to stand up today. I went to softball on Sunday, and I went to a batting cage, and I got this little blister. That was fun. Yeah, so basically, I had this interaction when I first got to the softball, which made me kind of think about what I want, like who I want to be. And I framed it to the therapist in a certain way, and then we talked more about it. So this is what I was thinking. I get to the softball game, and I know what I have to do. There's a guy there handing out shirts, and I'm like, I'm feeling okay. Like, I'm regulated. I'm not anxious. I am me. I am like normal, whatever, human person. And I'm like, okay, I'm just going to go over and I'm just going to ask, like, hey, are you off the dudes? Because that's the team I'm supposed to be on. And I'm a free agent. And he would be like, no, we're not off the dudes. We're the other team. Like, off the dudes, I think, is over there. And then I'd be like, cool, thanks so much. But what happened was, like, I walked over to the guy, and then someone else was kind of, like, talking to him, and then I just kind of, like, stood there awkwardly, and then I was like, are you off the dudes? And he was like, no, it's over there. And then I was like, my voice was really shaky and quiet, and then I walked over to the other people, and it's kind of hard to explain, but, like, what I've been doing the past 7 years in therapy is dealing with the judgment that comes after that, right? So you go to baseball, you say, "Oh, I'm off the dudes," oh, blah blah blah, and then you're like really quiet and awkward, and then afterwards you're like, "Oh, I'm so stupid. I'm so quiet and I'm so awkward. Nobody likes me, and everybody thinks I'm weird." Then you go to therapy and you tell them about that interaction, and they say, "Those are cognitive distortions. Nobody really cares about what you said and what you do and what you think." So over the last 7 years, I've gotten good at being like, yeah, nobody cares. Like, I was awkward and quiet there, and nobody cared. And I played baseball and it was fine, and nobody cared. And, like, I did bad on one at bat and nobody cared. So I've done what I'm supposed to do in therapy. Like, I've accepted myself that, like, I am just a quiet, weird person, and I don't interact great, and I'm awkward. But here's the thing. That person is still hard to connect to. So there are two options here. I can be who I am, which is like quiet and sensitive, hypersensitive person or whatever. And I can try to find as much joy as I can being that person. Or I can try to change and be the person who I think I can be if I can figure out how to do this, which is like, just do this. Just go up to a person and say, hey, are you off the dudes? I'm a free agent and looking for the off the dudes team. And then he would be like, no, that's not us. I think that's them over there. I'd be like, oh, then you're my enemy, I guess. I hope we're going to beat you or something. I don't know. I'd say something like that. And then I walk over to off the dudes. I'd be like, hey, let's get ready for some baseball or whatever. So that's what I want to do. I don't know how to do either of those things. And those are the only two options, right? Either be me or change. What else is there? And, well, when we were talking in therapy, it's like the two options I'm presenting are like who I am now or change who I am. And she was like, you can accept who you are without liking certain things and try to get better at them. And I'm like, well, that's kind of what I did with social anxiety, because I pushed myself to go to improv. Like, I didn't like that I was being alone and anxious all the time, so I went to an improv class so I can do that. But how do you do that with this? Because I could do it. I'll do anything. Tell me what to do, anything, and I'll do it. Literally anything. But solving this connection problem is hard. I hope in that ramble something made sense. So, in therapy, we're still kind of doing this IFS thing and see if it helps with this problem. And she did say a good thing today, which was like, the goal isn't connection. Like, don't make that the goal. Right now, we'll have like little tiny goals, and maybe you'll connect later, but it's such an amorphous, like, hard to define thing, connection. So let's not make it like a goal. So right now, the goal is kind of to just understand this part of myself that we call IFS is about identifying parts of you and then like showing compassion to them and understanding them. So right now we're trying to understand this part we call the barrier part. There is something, and it happened in therapy today, where like I'm not able to be this person. I go into therapy and I'm like super quiet and I don't talk and I have a bunch of thoughts and I'm like, there's a part of me that's protecting this from spreading to other people. It doesn't want this self to be out there. And I remember this story of me being a kid, and I remembered this because when I went to baseball on Sunday, it reminded me of this thing that I hadn't thought about in forever, which was I was 5 years old and I was in first grade or whatever, and I had to go to the bathroom, and we had like this assignment where we were drawing or something, and I knew what I had to do. I had to tell the teacher, like, I have to go to the bathroom. And I think as a kid, like, I knew that was a normal thing to do. Like, you can just tell the teacher to go to the bathroom. But there was, like, this barrier even as a kid where, like, I didn't know how to communicate to the teacher. So what I did was I just followed her around as she was, like, looking at kids drawing. And then she would look back at me and be like, "Oh, hi, Anthony. How are you? Are you having fun?" And I'd be like, "Oh." And then I would keep following her. And I don't remember if I ever went to the bathroom. But I remember her looking back a couple times and me not saying anything because I didn't know how to communicate. But I know how to communicate. I'm doing it right now. I'm talking. I'm talking so much. Shut up. Right? But when you add people to the equation, there is a part of me that is this barrier part that stops it. And I don't think I understand that part. I don't understand what it's trying to do. It's trying to help me. It's trying to help me for some reason, to protect me or whatever from being hurt or something, but I don't understand it. It's not working. It's not making me happy. So that's what you're supposed to do in IFS, is you're supposed to have compassion to that part and be like, help me understand. What are you doing? Why are you doing it? I just want to know. I just want to be your friend. Barrier part. Tell me why you are doing this, and I will not be judgmental of you and not say that you're being very unhelpful and annoying and hurting me a lot and causing me to be depressed and suicidal. I'm not going to say that because I'm showing compassion to you. I might be thinking it, but I'm not going to say it. Okay? I'm being nice. So that's what I'm doing. And tune in next week to see if it works. Yeah, what are we going on? Like 4 months of this depression shit? I don't want to do this anymore. I cried 3 times this week. Like, I've cried more times in the past 4 months than I have, like, in my entire life, really. I was thinking, it must be like, in the past year, I probably cried like 50 or 60 times. 50 or 60 days where I've cried. That's insane. That can't be good, right? I think it was good after the breakup to grieve, cry, and stuff, but this is not like just sitting on the couch and crying for no reason. That's not great, right? I don't know. Whoa. That's too cool. You're under arrest, mister. You think I'd be a good cop? Space cop. These are kind of space cop glasses. You have any idea how fast you were going in space? Yeah, that's it. Okay. Just wanted to do a quick one. I kind of like standing up. I don't like slouching. It just gives me this energy like. Alright. That's it. Smell you later, cool cats. See you on the flip flop. Bye. What's the deal with sunglasses? What's the deal with sunglasses?